Arian Kurtaj. At the age of 18, he pulled off many calls, the biggest hack in gaming history. And while skills are impressive, there's one thing that sets Arian apart from all the other teenage hackers out there. His need to hack no matter what the consequences. So who is this kid? Rockstar Games' worst nightmare. GTA 6, arguably one of the most anticipated game ever. Back in December 2023, trailer got 93 million views in the first 24 hours of release. Rockstar Games, the developer of Grand Theft Auto, managed to keep everything about the game under wraps. That is until September 18, 2022.
The big hot ticket item, the discussion right now, is the GTA 6 leaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, GTA 6 just got leaked.
Arian managed to hack into Rockstar Games' internal server and leaks over 90 in-game videos and screenshots showcasing the game character, map, location, and other development. This leak reportedly cost the company over $5 million. A hacker was born. Arian Kurtaj was born in Oxford, England, sometime in 2005. As a kid, he attended a prestigious private school where he excelled in subjects like maths and science, and growing up he was also more than a casual gamer, so he knew his way around technology pretty well. Arian had a natural talent when it comes to computer and began to putting those skills to the test early on, like hacking into Minecraft to win at PvP. But while he may have started cheating in video games, Arian soon moved on to the bigger things. Through his time playing games and browsing online forums, Arian was able to meet ton of veteran hackers. Using the online LS White, he became friends with them. But it didn't take long for his skills to surpass theirs. Even though he was just a beginner, Arian didn't just want to be good, he wanted to be the best. However, he understood that working together with other highly skilled hackers would make him even stronger. So he and his fellow hackers named Elvin and Miku co-founded the hacker group Infinity Recursion in early 2001. When Arian was just 16 years old, although most of the Infinity Recursion activists were mostly undocumented, it said that the group was known for its illegal war and subpoena service. Using SIM swapping techniques, members of Infinity Recursion were able to gain access to the private data of major companies.
By using compromised law enforcement emails, they were able to issue fake legal requests demanding companies release data on whoever they wanted.
Unfortunately for Arian, Infinity Recursion would soon fall apart just after months its creation, but that didn't stop him. That's why Arian, with the help of some of the remaining Infinity Recursion members, banded together to form a new group named LAPSUS. Arian was also engaged in other crimes such as stealing from crypto wallets and cell phone SIM swapping to make money. Through this solo hack, Arian was able to generate an impressive net worth of 300 bitcoins, or around $14 million by the age of 18. And like most millionaires who gain their wealth extremely quickly, Arian didn't spend his money wisely. He blew most of it by gambling online, but that didn't mean that he wasn't always trying to come up with new ways to make some cash, which is why he started to dive in the world of business. The Doxbin Chronicles. Just 16 years old, Arian was already trying to become a successful businessman, and when he saw he had the chance to buy one of the dark web's most notorious websites, he grew interested in it. So on November 2021, Arian under the LS White brought the babe inside Doxbin from two individuals named Katie and Brendan. The website was infamous for allowing users to publish docs anonymously. A doc when you publish private information about someone such as full name, address, social security number, and password. Doxbin has been one of the most praised sites on dark web for ages, but just after 3 months of owning the site, Arian had completely destroyed Doxbin's reputation. Despite buying the site, Arian didn't seem to care too much for it and neglecting it completely, which ruined many of the site's long-running features. It wasn't long before Doxbin members started to pressuring on Arian to sell the site into selling the site back to its original owner. Arian into selling the site back to its original owner for an 80% of discount, the price that he bought it for. And Arian was not happy about it. He believed that he fumbled a huge money-making opportunity, but instead of negotiating with Katie and Brethren, he decided to declare a full-on cyber warfare by by attempting to take the site down by logging it. Unfortunately for Arian, his plan didn't work, so he opted for alternative options. Since he still had access to the Doxbin's social media accounts, he decided to go on there and make a couple of posts, which also didn't work.
He then attempted to publicly advertise a bounty of $100,000 for KT stocks on the main Doxbin Twitter. But not even 5 hours later, KT gains access to the Twitter account to start mocking White on his very awful internet security and OPSEC skills.
The internet feud got so intense that Arian ended up just leaking the entire database of Doxbin's users, also accidentally leaking his information in the process. The Doxbin management team took this as a major threat and decided to drop an extensive documentary revealing all of the Arian's personal information on the site as a retaliation. The information included Arian's full name and his address, but what was arguably the most revealing piece of information in the document was Arian's affiliation with LAPSUS, which at this point had already become a notorious ransomware group. Although those involved knew that Arian was not only a member but the founder, this was completely new information for anyone else. Arian did his best to keep his affiliation secret, and as an anonymous hacker operating under numerous LSs, secrecy was the #1 priority for someone like Arian. But now all of that was gone, which was not only disappointing but also dangerous. The Doxbin management team decided to take this offline. They sent a group of people to pay Arian a visit in person, going to his mother's and father's house to try and find him. But Arian had already planned for this. He called the police and informed them what was coming, and when the Doxbin people arrived, there was already an officer waiting on the scene. After their visit didn't work, they chose to call in a SWAT raid on his home instead. But for Arian, that was nothing compared to what he was already dealing with, because it seemed as though his crimes were catching up for him. And in 2022, Arian was apprehended in both January and March. He was taken to court for suspicion of his ties to LAPSUS, but he was eventually let go because of the lack of evidence to prosecute him. All the police had a damning docs document to go off of, that wasn't enough to keep Arian locked up. The police and the court still kept an eye on him, knowing that it was only a matter of time before he would return to a face of judge. The only punishment the Arian got from his time in court was a long month internet suspension. The group that committed real crimes. After just few months, Arian hacking group Infinity Recursion fell apart, and now with the entire Doxbin debacle now behind him, Arian was free to continue his path of cybercrime, but at this time with the support of even bigger team.
And a mysterious overseas hacking group targeting major tech companies. KPX5's Sarah Donchi reports the FBI is now asking the public for help trying to track them down.
Arian, along with the remaining few members of Infinity Recursion, banded together to form a new hacker group called LAPSUS, which is one of the most notorious ransomware group out there. LAPSUS made headlines dozens of times for their large-scale cybercrime, using the LSY and Teapot Tuber hacker. Arian continued to keep his true identity a secret from the members of LAPSUS, and over the years, these LS would become tied to some huge cyber attack on major corporations. While no one knows when LAPSUS was officially formed, they first became known in 2001 after they hacked into the Brazilian health minister's computer system. The member of LAPSUS stole and deleted 50 terabytes of data on their internal server. Over the year, LAPSUS continued getting its name known by targeting major companies, particularly in technology industries, and despite being so young, Arian was quick to become one of the organization's best hackers, leading many of the group's major attacks, one of them being tech giant Nvidia. In February of 2022, Nvidia shocked the world with the news that they were investigating an incident.
They're saying that there's a possible cyber attack that resulted in company systems being disabled, developer tools, emails taken offline for 2 days.
This large-scale cyber attack completely compromised the company's internal system, allowing LAPSUS to take control for 2 days before Nvidia shut them out. Through the hack, LAPSUS leaked the personal information of over 71,000 Nvidia employees and threatened to leak an extra terabyte of stolen data. LAPSUS even tried to blackmail the video, claiming that they would leak even more data to the public unless the company gave in to their request. This seemed to be a common threat that they made, considering that they made the same to Samsung, Ubisoft and Microsoft a month later. In these hacks, LAPSUS and Arian did their usual routine, which involved breaking into each company's system, stealing sensitive information like employee data, user data and source code, and then leaking it online. After this back-to-back cyber attacks, LAPSUS' reputation as a dangerous organization was cemented, and soon one name started to be tied to the group's most recognized crimes, Aaron Kurtag, the genius teen hacker who was the mastermind behind the organization. Since Aaron's problem with the entire Doxbin team had made him a victim of Doxbin himself, it didn't take long for the police to piece together his identity. His nickname White and Teapot Tuber Hacker were no longer anonymous. They finally had a face. When Aaron's affiliation with LAPSUS was confirmed, police were quick to take action, and in September of 2022, Aaron along with an unnamed 17-year-old hacker were both taken into police custody for their participation in LAPSUS cybercrimes. But even under police watch, Aaron couldn't contain his urges to hack. So while he was on bail, Aaron decided to show the world just how skilled he was at his craft. Aaron's final mission. We already know that Aaron's hacking story started with video games. His love for Minecraft kickstarted his cybercrime lifestyle, but Aaron also had an interest in another game, Grand Theft Auto. Now that he and LAPSUS have parted ways, Aaron had all the time in the world to pursue his own personal hacking goals, breaking into Rockstar games. But there was one main problem. He was under police protection, especially locked inside a hotel room with officers stationed outside his door, and his laptop is in complete lockdown. How was he going to pull this off? If there's a will, there's a way. So we got a little creative with some of the things lying around his travel lodge hotel room. But before targeting Rockstar games, Aaron wanted to enhance his hacking skills. Knowing that he was probably going to jail soon, he wanted to go out with a bang. So he decided to hack several multi-million-dollar companies all by himself. All it took for Aaron to hack these servers was a TV, a smartphone, and an Amazon Fire Stick. He used these items to create a makeshift computer to conduct the most impressive hacks of his career, starting with Uber. Aaron's hacks on Uber apparently cost the rideshare company $3 million due to the damage that he created. Afterwards, he moved on to the finance company Revolut, accessing over 5,000 customers' private information. But he wasn't done. Not until he got his hands on the coveted GTA 6 files. Using that same Fire Stick and hotel TV method, Aaron was able to not only access Rockstar Games' internal servers but also their company Slack, which is a communication app kind of Discord. There he made a threat stating that he would release the game source code if no one from the company contacted him within 24 hours, and he tried to call his Buffalo, leaving his message ignored. So Aaron took that as a green light to leak everything. September 19th, 2022. This was one of the biggest leak in the gaming history. This was one of the biggest leak in all of the gaming history. 3 GB of stolen footage and gameplay from GTA 6 was shared with the public through an online gaming forum. There were over 90 clips and photos of unreleased game, and while Rockstar and Take-Two, their parent company, tried their best to contain the leak by copyright striking everything, it was already far too late. Everything spread across the internet like a wildfire, and whenever a piece of leaked content was taken down, it was just re-uploaded moments later. There was nothing that Rockstar and Take-Two could do, so they decided to turn their attention to the perpetrator.
They got him. Oh yeah! Take a look at this.
After this hack gained international attention, police were able to tie the leak back to Aaron, who was already under police protection on bail, and they decided to punish him to full extension of the law. But there were a few complications with that plan. For starter, Aaron has autism, so doctor deemed him unfit to stand trial. Because of this, a jury was used instead to determine whether or not Aaron was guilty, or more importantly, whether he hacked Rockstar Games with criminal intent. Through this trial, which happened in August of 2023, a few things were made clear. Aaron was undoubtedly forced to be reckoned with. There were only few hackers out there with his level of expertise. The boy hacked into famous gaming company with just a hotel TV, a Fire Stick, and his phone. But more importantly, everyone was made aware of just how passionate Aaron was about hacking. After the jury deemed Aaron guilty, he took a mental hospital assessment where the results showed that he would likely to return to cybercrimes as soon as he could. There's something in him that made hacking an instinct rather than a job or a hobby, which made him even extremely dangerous to the public. Seeing that Aaron was highly likely to re-offend, the judge deemed that he was a danger to society, and that landed him a life sentence, not in the prison, but in a secure mental hospital for the rest of his life, or until the doctor decided otherwise. But that didn't mean that this was the end of his story. If you guys want me to release a part 2 of his story, then do consider a like, and if you wanna see me again, then hit that subscribe button. Otherwise you won't find me again.